Linda Mihara, and I'm going to show you a really cool dragon. This is designed by Jeremy Shafer from his book, Origami to Astonish and Amuse. And it's fantastic. This is actually a slightly easier version of this dragon. I thought it'd be a perfect model to teach for my Freefold Saturday, Origami Saturday class. So let's get started. You want to begin with a 10-inch square of origami or larger. This is more of an upper intermediate level model and involves some maneuvers like inside reverse folds and some angled pleats and a sink fold. So this will be a really great challenge and it's a lot of fun. So what I have is I have my 10-inch square of regular origami paper, or kami, what we call, has blue on one side. It's got white on the other side. Doesn't really matter. You don't need to have a double-sided sheet because you only see one side of this model. And so what we're going to do is first start with the color side face up, and we're going to do some pre-creases to make a crane base. So the first step is to fold it into a triangle. Again, this is the back side of the paper that you're seeing now. So go ahead and give that a nice crease. Unfold it. You want to rotate and then go ahead and fold the other triangle. Line up your points, pull straight down, and then you just go right and left, and that way it doesn't shift around on you, and you have a nice long fold like this. So we'll open it up. And let's turn it over to the back side. So now we're looking at the back side of the paper. We're going to fold both rectangles. So let's fold the first one this way here. Line up your edges and go ahead and fold from the center out like this. Okay, so now that we have our rectangle folded as such, you want to open it up, rotate, fold the other rectangle, and leave it folded in this rectangle because what we're going to do is create our preliminary base. And so you want to grab the folded edge here by the corners. And then what you do is you push your hands together. You see how it pops out into like an X from the top? So what you want to do is split your layers, and you have 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and go ahead and flatten it out on your table. So now you have your preliminary base. So we're going to do some other pre-creases. You want to take this. We have 2 flaps on this side, 2 on this side. Let's take the top flap, and this whole edge here, we want to line up and with the center line here. And so you're just going to do a simple fold like this. I kind of call it a paper airplane fold because that's kind of the start of making a paper airplane. Take the other side and fold that in. It's also known as what I call an ice cream cone fold. So what we've done is created our ice cream cone like this. And because this is a pre-crease, it's a good idea to get your folding tool and reinforce these creases here. The trick with using your bone folder or your creasing tool, you can certainly use like any rounded pin. You can also use the back of a spoon. That might be helpful for you if you don't have anything specific like this around. After you fold your ice cream cone, this triangle becomes your ice cream. So you're going to take that and fold that down onto your cone. So put the fold in place first with your hands, and then you follow with your creasing tool like this. So now that we have a nice solid pre-crease set, we want to unfold this. So we're going to eat the ice cream and eat the cone. So here's our nice pre-crease triangle that we have here. You want to peel away the top layer of paper and leaving the ice cream flat and using the base of the ice cream, this fold here, as a hinge for the paper. You want to keep that flat. So peel away the top portion of the paper, and using that hinge, you want to stretch the paper out as far as it'll go like this. And then you see how the sides come in. So start from the bottom. Let's work on the right side first. Start from the bottom and just follow along that cone fold that you did in the previous step. And then continue. You're going to reverse the direction of the fold up here. But because you put the pre-crease in place, it should fall right into place here. So just continue on so that it looks like this. On the opposite side, again, you're going to follow from the bottom, work your way in, just follow along those pre-creases, and then go ahead and you end up with one side of the crane base. So we're going to flip this over and do the same sequence of folds on this other side. You're going to take this edge, you're going to fold it up to the center line like this. And the same for the opposite side. This edge goes up and lines up with the center line like this. Use your creasing tool, reinforce those creases. And then the ice cream cone, or the ice cream rather, you want to reverse the direction of that fold from the previous step and just fold that down onto your cone like we did. Take your creasing tool, make sure that you do crease it really well there. And then eat our second ice cream and our second cone. And so now we want to open up the paper, stretch it out. Remember, leaving the ice cream flat and leaving this hinge in place for the paper to follow. So you're going to peel open the top layer and stretch it out as far as it'll go. You'll see the sides start to come in, and that's what you want to continue to do. So starting from the right side, from the very bottom, just kind of work the paper up and then continue with the fold on the top here. Same for the opposite side, starting from the bottom and working your way in. Sometimes you might have to open up this corner here. Sometimes the paper gets a little jammed like I saw. So you just kind of stick your finger in there and pop it open. And then you can continue on by folding the rest of that in place like that. Take the wing and let's fold this down. Let's turn it over to the other side and fold that wing down as well. So now you've got this shape here. Looks kind of like a kite. Now we're going to be setting up the fold for a sink fold. So if you look at your model, you've got that fold. That was the base of the ice cream that identifies this triangle up in here. We want to take the top of the triangle and fold it down where the center meets that line going across. So let's go ahead and do that. Line that up. Give that a good strong crease. Now this is, we're going to have to reverse this fold too, because this is going to set us up for the sink fold. So after you do your fold, take your creasing tool and make sure that you do give this a good strong crease so that it's really nice in place. So let's unfold that. Let's turn it over to the other side and let's repeat that fold. So we need to reinforce that edge there. So let's bring that point down to where the middle meets that fold going across like this. Put that fold into place, take your creasing tool, give it a good strong flat crease like that, and let's unfold. Okay, so now your model should look like this. You've got a little triangle up here, you've got that fold going across here. And what we want to do is open up the model and kind of stretch the paper out in the middle here by lifting from underneath. And you see the square that's on the inside. I'll go ahead and mark it out with my pen so you can see this square here that we've just created using those, moving that triangle down to the middle there. So this square is going to be important, and we're actually going to sink that whole point inside. The way you do that is you want to work around your square and turn all of the edge of the square to a mountain fold by pinching it like this. So this ends up turning into a mountain fold. So you want to do that, rotate, and let's do the next side. So you want to push up from underneath and pinch it so that it is a mountain fold like you see here. Rotate, let's do the next one. Pinch it like that. And then the final one, let's rotate and then pinch this in place. So now what you have is what I call a tabletop. It kind of, the square is articulated. It's pretty cool. On the flaps that have these valley folds that go down, go ahead and bring those in and then bring the wings in together so that now looks kind of like a diamond shape and you got a little square top here. You want to very gently push this in as you pinch these corners of the square. So if you kind of watch how I'm doing this, if we pinch this, make sure that that is on its way in. And as you pinch from the opposite corners, like I'm doing with both hands, this will end up sinking inside. So just kind of make sure that that's all tucked in there. And when you complete the pinch, that point has completely disappeared inside the top of this model, like you see here. Sink fold. Go ahead and split your layers and let's go ahead and flatten it out onto the table so that you have two flaps on this side and two flaps on this side. And then now we're going to be working with this top section here. Now that we've sunken in that point, we've got two flaps on either side here. We want to start folding them in, beginning with the center here and ending at the outer point here. And then what that does is you bring this in just the top flap, the top layer rather, so that it goes from the middle to the outer corner like this. Let's do the same for the opposite side. So we're going to take that and fold that down. Just like this. And let's take your creasing tool and let's go ahead and reinforce those so they're nice and flat. Like this. Let's turn the model over and go ahead and fold these 2 points down as well. So remember, this is your center point here. You're going to take that and fold that down, starting from the center and ending at the outer point here. And the same for the other side. Let's see if we can get it to a point like this. Take your creasing tool and let's go ahead and crease it. I want to change this and make sure that it goes to the center point. So I'm adjusting my fold here. And then let's go ahead and crease that. So now we've got our nice crease fold like this. Let's take this wing and we're just going to fold it all the way up like this. And we're going to, if you see this fold here that runs right along the middle of the diamond, we want to take this edge here and line it up with this here using this corner as a pivot point. So this is a valley fold. So you're just going to bring it towards you. And remember, we want to have the fold start from this pivot point here and line it up with that fold going across the width of the model. Like this. Take your creasing tool and let's go ahead and reinforce that crease like this. And then we want to unfold that. And we want to do the same thing for this side here. So this edge, you want to line that up with this fold here using this corner as a pivot. So now you're taking the flap and you're valley folding it. Starts from this pivot point here, runs along the edge here like this, and then you're going to go ahead and fold that. What we're doing is we're setting up for a rabbit ear fold, which is kind of cool. It's a 3-part fold. So let's unfold that. So you see this triangle that we've created down here. We want to use that as our guide to make the 3rd part of this model. So if you bring this in and push this point out of the way, we're actually going to reverse the direction of this fold. Currently, it is a valley fold coming from here and a mountain fold on this side. We want to turn this into a valley fold. And the way you do that is you want to push this out of the way, and you want to refold this triangle here by starting from the outside and working your way in. And what happens is when you complete that, this is sticking straight up. And you want to go ahead and fold it into your mountain fold here. So it should just fall right into place because there was a fold there and you're just reversing the direction of that fold. So it should look like this from the front. You know, it sticks out like that. And that from the top. And let's go ahead and it makes kind of like a T in the paper. So you're going to take this is one of the wings. You're just going to fold it down like this. Okay. Let's turn the model over and do the same, but we're mirroring the other side. So let's start by taking the wing and folding it all the way up to the top. We want to do our 2-part fold. So they're taking this edge, using this corner as a pivot. You're going to line it up with this fold here. And I'm going to bring it down like this, starting here, running along that fold line, and then just going ahead and putting that crease in place, taking your creasing tool and making a nice strong crease there. We're going to unfold that. Do the same for the opposite side. So this edge, you're going to line it up with this fold here, using this as a pivot. Bring that over your valley fold and put that in place. Make sure you get your creasing tool. unfold that. Here's your triangle. You're going to bring the paper in by pushing this flap out of the way. So you're reinforcing that triangle. When you come together, you're just going to put this fold in place. This should line up. It should be pretty even. See, these should be lined up like this. So you're creating that mountain fold. And then now let's go ahead and put this wing to match the other side. So that means it's going to go swing over to the left. So your model should look like this. You've got your two legs down here. We've got two wings happening up here. Now we're going to do an inside reverse fold. And the best way to do that is first, we're going to take this flap here and let's just move it over to the other side so that you're looking at this side here. We're going to take the wing and we're going to fold it all the way up to the top as far as it'll go, and then make a fold. Okay, there's a new fold that you're creating right there. Now what we want to do is take this, line up this center line here with this bottom edge here, using this middle point as a pivot. The way you do that is you're going to, from behind, it's already a mountain fold from the back. So if you go ahead and coax it into a mountain fold, it might help if you pinch it here. What you're going to do is swing it over to the right using this corner as a pivot. And we want to line up this line here with this edge here. And this is what it looks like. It's going to swing over like this. And you see how it lines up right on top of that flap in the back. And when that's in place, the rest of this model will fall into place. So just go ahead and swing that over and then go ahead and fold it. So it looks like this. I'll repeat that. You open this up and we've made the crease here. We're pinching this because it's already a mountain fold. And then this edge ends up lining up with this back edge here. So you're pinching it as you're swinging it over, and then you're lining it up with that bottom flap. And then you're continuing with this top flap, and then that should close just like that. And then make sure that you do fold behind. So that was the repeat of that step. Now you've got two flaps here. We're going to take the top flap and basically we're going to fold this in half. So this flap is going to line up with this bottom edge, and it's going to continue because this flap is going to line up with this edge on the inside here. Best way to do that is to start with the long edge first, and we're going to bring that down to line up with the bottom. And it will come to a point out here. So let's do that. Let's just, as far as it'll go, let's put that fold in place like this. And then when you walk the paper over, this should line up, this edge should line up with this flap here. And if it doesn't, just go ahead and put that in place so that it's like this here. And then this will also, you want to bring that over and just flatten that there. And then that is the way you make that. So this is going to be one of the top arms of the dragon. We want to do the same for the other side. So let's go ahead. Actually, before we do that, let's take this flap here, this short flap, and let's make a valley fold angled straight down like this. This is, again, like I said, one of the arms. And so you want to take your creasing tool, and let's just go ahead and give that a good strong crease so it stays in place. And let's turn it over now. Let's turn it over, and we're going to repeat that. So what we need to do is to take this top edge, line it up with this. So you're going to narrow this whole section by bringing this down and lining it up with the bottom. And make sure it comes to a point there too. And keep going, bring it over, and then make sure that this edge of the flap lines up with the bottom edge here. And so you can kind of pinch the point in place. When you do that, and you end up with moving this all the way in as far as it'll go. You see how that starts to also fall on to my finger in this case. And just go ahead and bring that down and flatten it out like this. Take your creasing tool, give it a good crease all the way around. And then taking the leg, and we're going to make a valley fold straight down. So that's his other front arm that's going to be sticking out. And make sure that you use your creasing tool to give it a good strong crease like that. So this is how we have, this is the front leg. Now we're going to do some angled pleats for the top. We're also going to do angled pleats for the bottom, but we're going to worry about that later. We're going to kind of work from the head down to the tail in this case. And I think it's a little bit easier way to do this. Easier to remember how to do this. We're going to do some angled pleats. When you do a regular pleat, it looks like a stair step. So you've got, it's even back and forth, back and forth. An angled pleat is one vertical fold joined with an angled fold. So what happens is instead of stair stepping down in one way, it will go up at an angle or down at an angle depending on which way you have the angled fold. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mark 3 different pleats that we're going to do for the head, starting with a vertical fold, which I'm going to mark that goes, and when I say vertical fold, it's vertical to the bottom line of the model here. So this is, a vertical fold. And then we're going to do an angled fold that will use this bottom edge as the pivot point. So it will look like this. Okay, let's make a second one. So let's make it right about here. 1 vertical fold, 1 angle fold. And then let's do 1 more. We're going to do 3. Vertical fold and an angle fold. So what we want to do is we want to pre-crease these first. So let's go ahead and pre-crease the vertical fold. So you're just going to do valley folds. Pretty easy. I'm going to go like this. And then we want to do the valley fold going back. Let me mark it on this side so that you know which way we're going here. Again, we're using that bottom edge as the pivot. So this folds back at an angle like this. So you see where I have my fold here. So the bottom is a pivot. So it's what I call a straight fold this way, and then an angle fold this way. So let's go ahead and repeat that. We're going to do our vertical fold. Fold that down. And then the angle fold coming back up. Remember, this bottom is your pivot. So we're just going to bring it up at an angle. Okay. So you can see the neck is starting to curl up, which is what we want. So the final one, we're going to do that vertical fold. So fold that straight down. Give that a good crease. And then fold it up at an angle, using the bottom as a pivot, so it comes this way. So see, you're kind of making a curl like this, which is cool. Now, if you can put the model on the table, I'm going to rotate it just a little bit, and take your folding tool and just kind of go and reinforce those creases that you've just made. Like that. Now we're going to put the pleats in place. The way you do that is we're going to unfold it carefully. And if you reach inside, you can split the layers running the length of the neck of the top of the model. What we want to do is use those pre-creases to do the pleats. The vertical folds, as you see on the other side, they're opposite of what's happening here. On this side, the vertical fold is a valley, and the angle fold is a mountain. And on the other side, the vertical fold is a mountain, and the angle fold is a valley. What we want to do is we want to match it so that we have a valley fold on both sides for the vertical, and an angle fold, mountain fold on both sides on the other side. The way you do that is if you take it, you kind of, first we have to open it up a little bit. If we pinch it right by the vertical fold here and hold that in place, if you open this up with your finger, you can coax it into place so that you see how when the valley fold is in place on the other side, you see the fold is there, so you're just reversing that. But if you push the paper together, it will open up like this and make, you see how it changes the direction because you have that pre-crease in place. So the goal is now you should see the vertical fold on both sides like that. This is what it looks like on top. That's what you want to do, is we want to make that, repeat that for the next step. So again, you want to hold it and pinch it right where the vertical fold is, open it up from behind, coax the paper into making that, turning that into a valley fold. And if you pinch the paper, you see how you want that opening to happen. This is going to help you put that fold in place like this. So you're pushing the paper around the valley fold. So here's our pleating that's starting to happen. You see how that works? Kind of looks like stacked arrows. And then the final one, you want to push, again, pinch it right where the vertical fold is. You want to open it up from the inside, start coaxing it into place, pushing the paper in, opening it like this, and then pinch it. And then here's your series of pleats, making the head come around like this, which is pretty cool. Okay. And so this is what it looks like from the top, right? It should be, like I said, stacked arrows, kind of like that. So you've got your kind of scales of the dragon happening. Now let's go ahead and do the head. So right about the halfway point, right about here, let's go ahead and take and make an angled valley fold that will come out right about there. Okay. Let's go ahead and use our creasing tool and give that a good crease like that. And then we're going to unfold it. Here's your crease, your pre-crease. We want to open it. This is going to be an outside reverse fold. So we want to open it from the back here. We want to push it through, and we're reversing the direction of this fold. And kind of like what we do is we're wrapping the paper around the outside. And what happens is the paper, or it starts to look like this. You see, it starts to wrap around the paper, or the neck rather. So it's on the outside so that it angles that way. So it looks the same on both sides. You've got like this. So again, you do a pre-crease first, unfold it, split the layers behind, and then you're pushing it through, bringing the paper like this, and then you're creasing right where you had your pre-crease done there. Now what we want to do is reach underneath. You actually have 4 layers of paper underneath, but it's just the top layer that we're most concerned about. So let's go ahead and reach inside here. And what I have here, so you see this first layer of paper here, I want to open it up and basically unfold it so that it kind of is flat like this. So why don't we do that? Let's just go ahead and take that and unfold it so that it opens up right about like that, and make a little crease there. And then on the other side, we want to reach inside. I'm going to rotate the model a little bit here. So we want to reach inside that flap, and we basically want to unfold it. So let's peel it open. And when we do that, let's see if we can get this to pay attention here and behave. Come on, you guys. Let's get that. We want to open it up, peel it open. We're about halfway there. And we're just going to flatten it so that it should look like this, kind of like a leaf. Then let's flip it over, and we're just going to refold the head. So put that nice mountain fold back in place. So you see that now we have a fatter head for the dragon. And then the basic way to finish this is to just take it and fold this back. If you fold it back right about halfway, which is this, so you're basically making a mountain fold, tucking in the point going in. Okay, so that's really a finished head, but what's really cool is that you've got some extra paper from that point that you actually tucked in. So if you fold it back out, making just a little tiny pleat, if you fold it back out like this and close it, it's like it's a fire-breathing dragon. He's got a little flame coming out there, which is kind of fun. You can see that. You go forward if you want, however way you want to do it. He's got a little tiny detail like that. Okay, so now that we have the front done, let's move to the back. For the wings, you want to peel off this top layer here, and let's go ahead and make a crease. Let's line this up with the back of the leg here. So we're just going to bring that up like this, and let's just kind of fold it from the inside here. I know you do have an extra layer that's caught in there, but don't worry about that. We want to put that in place first. And actually, let's just not worry about that right now. Let's back it up. Let's start with this. Okay. So we finished the head detail. And so now let's go ahead and take the wing and let's move it to the back first. Let's take this flap and just the top layer and move it over to the other side. So now you're looking at this here. And you see that crease line that goes across from this point to this point? Let's take the wing and fold it up along there. It pretty much is right at the limit. So right where that ends is where you want to make your crease. So go ahead and bring the wing up and then go ahead and fold that in place. And so just like what we did for the head, we want to take this center line here and line it up with this bottom edge here. And the way we do that is we want to pinch it into the mountain fold that goes along the bottom. And as you do so, it starts to swing off. You want it to swing off to the right. Using this middle as a pivot, you're going to line this up with this edge here, which is like, if you keep pinching, it will line up right like that. Hold that in place. And then the back leg here, you're just going to squash that down like that. And then again, we're going to take this edge. We're going to narrow the tail by bringing this edge to meet the bottom. And we also bring this edge to meet this bottom here. So this whole edge ends up folding it in half. So let's start by peeling off the top layer here, and let's bring it down to the bottom edge. Make sure it comes to a point here. So you're going to bring the paper all the way over. If it's lined up, and when it stops, you'll see that now you can take the paper and pinch it so that it's in place here. And then just go ahead and flatten that out like this. Okay. Turn it over. So let's turn the model over and mirror what we just did. But before we do that, let's take the wing and move it up to the front. And then take this edge, and we're going to bring it to the bottom edge here. So make sure it comes to a point. So let's do that. And then also making sure that this edge lines up with this part here, like that. And then this will swing off to the left, and then go ahead and flatten that out. Okay, so now we want to take the leg and let's fold that down. We're doing a valley fold forward so that it's pointing down at an angle like that. And let's go ahead and take the wing and fold it back. Now we're going to take open up the wing, and let's just go ahead and take that, and we're going to open it up. And actually, let's go ahead and open it up so that it will actually end at this point in here. So it slightly goes over the leg here. So we're going to take this, and we're just opening it up as far as it'll go and putting a fold in place like this. And then we're doing the same for the other side. So we're going to reach up underneath this left side of the wing and open that up as far as it'll go, and then make your crease like this. Now what we want to do is take this and squash fold this wing straight down like this. And then now we're going to put some pleats in the wing. And the best way to do this is to start by taking the wing and folding it back up between these 2 points. So as far up as it'll go, which is this here. So it should look like this. Okay. Now this is the front of the wing. So this is going to be the pivot point. So you want to take this edge, and let's first start by taking this edge, using this as a pivot point. We're going to line it up with this bottom edge here and fold it down like this. Now let's go ahead and fold it back up. But we're going to break this up into thirds. So I'm just going to make it approximate thirds like this. So let's make the first valley fold going up. Remember, this is your pivot point, so it's going to start here, and it's going to end right about the third marker that I've made here. So make sure that that comes and ends at that pivot point here. And then it folds back down, again, using that pivot point. And in fact, in this case, you're just going to take that edge, and it's going to line up with this new fold that you've just created, like this. And then we're going to take and fold it. We're going to make a mountain fold behind this edge here. So we're just folding it back and forth. Make sure that it starts here. So we're folding it back. So we're making a mountain fold. And now we're finishing with the valley fold by folding this whole thing in half. So bring the wing forward like this. So it's a pleat back and forth. You see it's a pleat like that. Isn't that cool? Let's go ahead and put that wing back down. And then let's turn it over to the other side. So let's flip it over. Now let's first fold the leg. So we're going to take the leg and fold it down to mirror the other side. So that's your valley fold straight down. To match that, use your creasing tool. That's going to help you out a lot. Put that in place. There's a lot of layers of paper there. Now you're going to open the wing, and let's go ahead and let's do the one on the right first. So you're going to open it up as far as it'll go and fold it from the center here right to where it ends at the front of the leg. So let's go ahead and fold that in place. Do the same for the other side. So let's open it up a little bit more, and let's put that fold into place like this. Now you're going to take the whole thing and you're going to squash fold it. So we're going to take this, fold it down, and we're squash folding it. So it should look like this now. And then we're going to take the wing and fold it back up between these 2 points, which is as far as it'll go. Like that. Now let's take, this is going to be our pivot point here, the one on the front left. This edge is going to come down and meet the bottom of the wing here. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to swing off to the right. And you see how that lines up there? And I'm going to go ahead and make 3 third marks right there. 1/3, 1/3. The next fold is going to be a valley fold from the front pivot point to that first third mark. So I'm going to fold it up like this. and then fold it back down, which is basically taking this edge and bringing it to the bottom here. So make sure you've got it comes to that pivot point right there in front. Okay, so it's like this. So now we're going to take this and we're going to make a mountain fold along that edge there to fold the rest of the wing. So mountain fold. So you want to start, here's your pivot point here. And then finally bringing that edge to meet the bottom here, folding that whole section in half. And then you have nice even pleats. Okay, you got your pleats going like that. Pretty cool. Now we have to do our angled pleats for the tail. So I'm going to go ahead and mark, let's do 4 of these. I think it really makes a difference when you have a little bit more. The first one should definitely be right at the corner of the leg here. So here's your first vertical fold. This one's really important because in order to make it stand, you want to make sure that this fold is in place. Again, we're using the bottom as our pivot points. So we're going to make an angle coming off of that. Let's make another vertical fold and another angle fold, another V, and a third one, vertical fold, and then an angle fold. If you want, you can use a pencil to kind of mark this too. It might help you. And then another vertical fold, and then another angle fold. So we've got 4 in place. And again, we're going to do the pre-crease that we did on the other side. So let's go ahead and start by making well, you could make it a valley fold, make it a mountain fold, either way, because you're going to still use it. Let's go ahead and make it mountain folds for this time. Mountain, and then we're going to do valley back on the angle fold. Okay, so we do a mountain and then a valley, like that. We're going to do a mountain and then a valley. Make sure it comes to a point where the vertical is. And then the third one, we're doing a mountain and then a valley. And then another mountain and then the final valley. So it should look like this. Take your creasing tool and let's reinforce these creases. So kind of pile your pleats back and let's use the creasing tool. Yeah, give that good creases on those. Okay, so now from the top, let's separate the layers, opening up the tail like this. And we're going to do that same maneuver that we did on the head. And again, we're going to start, I'm going to rotate the model because it's easier for me to work with my right hand. And we want to first pinch, see if we can get the wings out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to pinch right behind the vertical fold. Let's open this up here. And you want these to be valley folds. So on this side, this is a valley fold already. And we're going to, but we have to reverse the direction on the other side. So if you coax the paper over, it will follow that vertical fold and change it to a valley fold. And the way you do is you want to coax it by opening it up like this and then pushing the paper in. See, we push the paper in. And what happens is the pleat will be in place like that. Okay. Let's do the next one. Let's see, get these wings. I'm going to hold it from the bottom here. Right behind the vertical fold. Split the layers and almost like go ahead and push it like that. creating that opening. And then when you pinch the paper together here, it will push together and follow that pleat like that. Let's do the next one. Open it up, hold it from the right behind that vertical fold, open the paper, kind of open it up, and now push the paper in and over. So now you've got your pleats going like this. And then we have a final one. Again, you have to open up the layers, hold it right behind the vertical fold. You want to open the paper and get it to push. And you're basically making pleats on both sides. Let's see if we can get that to go. Let's see if we can get that to go. All right. So now it should look like this. Okay, you got your little pleats in place there. And so now we're going to do a little finish on the tail. I'm going to rotate it back to this way. And about halfway on this section here, let's take the model and we're just going to fold it down from the outside. Just make a crease like that. And what we want to do is let's pinch below that. Just hold all the layers together right like this. And what we want to do is peel open the layers like we did with the head, like that. And then let's just kind of flatten it out. If you pinch underneath and then flatten it like this, and you want it to be kind of up at an angle. There's like a little spike on the tail of the dragon, and you can kind of articulate the spike by pinching the point so it looks like more like that. So that's his little spiky tail. So now let's go ahead and we're done with all the folding. And so now we just want to kind of shape the dragon. Open the wings like this. And you could set him down straight like that. Or you can have him standing up as well on the back legs. So he'll look like this. So you'll end up with a dragon that can stand like this on his back legs or face down like this. So it's a really cool dragon by Jeremy Shafer. This is actually a shortened version. There are some other additional details that he's got, and it's from his book, Origami to Astonish and Amuse, which we do have here at the Paper Tree. So feel free to take a look at it. And he's got some amazing models in that book, and I think you'll really enjoy it. But this dragon is one of my favorites that he's done. Hope you had a great time, and thank you so much for joining me.